No. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. And thing sucks.
It seemed like it's been forever since week 13 began, but we are back to talk about the week that was and to preview the week that is coming on this National Jay-Z Day. Fellas, how you doing? June, Foster, Dave.
Doing great, baby. Doing great.
How's everybody December 4th going?
It's going.
It's Jay-Z's birthday today, I think.
That's right. That's right. National Jay-Z Day. There you go. There you go, Foster.
I
know it's such a thing as a National Jay-Z Day, but
there's a track on the Black Album called December 4th. So
yeah, for sure.
Classic.
Very good album. I wouldn't call it a classic, but very good album. So let's start with the first game of week 13. Thanksgiving, the game that kicked off Thanksgiving, the Bears played the Detroit Lions and lost in hilarious, dramatic, and unbelievable fashion, as they've come to do in the Eberflus era in 2004. But I will cede the floor to the victors of that game, Detroit Lions. Foster, June. Tell us how you all won that game from a Lions perspective.
I think a fast start kind of propelled the win. Although we did leave some points off the board in the first half, but to be up 16-0, to be behind 16-0 is, it's not a big lead, but it's a double-digit lead, and if your defense can stay intact with a 16-point lead at half, you have a pretty good chance of winning. Like I said, there were some points that were left off the board in the first half that kind of opened the door to make a closer game in the second half. But pretty much fast start, and probably like a lackadaisical fourth quarter as far as scoring. But that's pretty much how we won, and a big mistake at the end of the game. But who knows what would have happened though.
You got anything, Foster? I didn't want to cut you off.
We knew that the Bears were going to be tough on third down, tough in the red zone, and they did force us to kick 3 field goals. So that kept them in the game, and you just had that feeling that like we need just a little bit more to really put them away. And then we did have that fumble in the red zone by Jahmyr Gibbs, which kept hope alive for Chicago, and ultimately they ended up getting back in the game, and so it wasn't our best effort as far as penalties and converting on major downs, but we were able to do enough and fight off the pick plays and mesh routes that the Bears seem to, display for us. But, ultimately we got the victory.
I did want to ask this because there's been a conversation amongst Bears fans. Do you agree with the thought process that Ben Johnson's play call in the second half led to the Lions being passive, or and allowed the Bears back into the game?
He has been known, as much as he's praised for his efforts, the play calling, which a lot of time it's deservedly so. There are definitely times where he leaves something to be desired as far as play calling is concerned. So it didn't necessarily jump out to me in this particular situation, but if I went back to it, I probably would agree with that.
Cool. I don't necessarily agree. I think I was telling a lot of my Bears fans, like, Detroit's put 30, 40, 50 points on people repeatedly this season. So I don't necessarily think that anything that Detroit did let us off the hook. I think it's just just a better second half from a schematic standpoint from the Bears. But I'm gonna tell you about the Bears stand on this side point.
I can tell you, I've been waiting all week to hear this.
Okay, so here's the thing. I secretly have been desiring that that we can play in prime time in front of everyone, and Eberflus can do the biggest F job that he's ever done. Like he's lost some miraculous games. Dave, you got to watch it in last week. You may not have realized why we were losing games. You got to see firsthand. Like, that was confounding decision coming from the sidelines. You got to see that firsthand, and now the whole world got to see it. I've been complaining about our head coach for over a year, and people have been telling me, "No, man, you should have took Jaden Daniels. You all be winning with Jaden Daniels. No, man, you all should have got a haul for Caleb Williams and kept Justin Fields." All this malarkey. All that malarkey goes down the sewer because now everyone got to see it for themselves. It ain't got nothing to do with Justin. It ain't got nothing to do with Caleb. It ain't got nothing to do with anything else. It was primarily Flus and Flus's inability to, 1, be a head coach, 2, listen to his players, and 3, not hire horrible coordinators. That is the worst thing Ryan Poles has done as a general manager. And he ain't been sparkling in his tenure as well, but that is the worst. Even worse than trading a pseudo first round pick for Chase Claypool, who is no longer in the league.
Well, hold on. Let me interject. Now, couldn't Justice Field say the same thing? Like, he's the reason why he wasn't successful. The very reason why this season has been a debacle because of the head coach.
Oh, I mean, it would be a good argument. I would listen to that argument as well. If Fields want to say, you know what, the turn down in my career is all because of Flus. I'll listen to the argument. I'm like, you know what? You're not wrong. You're not wrong. However, should you still be the starter in Chicago because of Flus? I won't go that far. Not with Caleb on the board, right? But let's go back to this game. So the Bears had an opportunity to either win or take the game into overtime. Had the ball on the Detroit Lions 25 with 38 seconds left in the game. We didn't turn the ball over. We didn't turn the ball over on downs. We did not score. We did not go to overtime. The game just ended. We had a timeout. Usually, we don't have timeouts in this situation because Eberflus has jagged them away with terrible challenges. He tried to in this game. They were told you cannot challenge this particular play, Eberflus, because that is a terrible call. You keep that timeout. So to his luck, he had a timeout to use, and he still didn't use it.
I felt that.
There's legend has it that he's still standing on the sidelines at Ford Field, waiting for the perfect time to throw that timeout.
It could have been when the clock struck 16 seconds, 12 seconds, or when he saw his quarterback starting to audible.
There was, Dave, there was a half a minute, a full half a minute for you to just do this. It takes less than a second to do this, and he just doesn't do it. And we don't get a play. We don't get a decent playoff. We can't even attempt to take the game that overtime to at least have another shot to win. That's bad coaching. That's malpractice of coaching. That's the type of stuff you would never get another coaching job again, ever. Something like that.
You were close to the 50-yard line, though, so you weren't kicking a field goal in that situation.
No, they were within field goal range. It would have been
No,
a
they were not.
longer one, but
It was like in the
makeable.
They got
50.
sacked. They got sacked, and it literally took them out of field goal range. The
Right,
playbook.
right. But when we got to the 25, there was a confluence of errors. And I'm not going to say it was all on Eberflus, no, because I don't think we called the right play. The next play, I think it was a QB draw. That's what it looked like, because the line, just the way the line bent, it looked like it's supposed to be a QB draw, and no one did what they were supposed to do. We got sacked immediately. That took us out of field goal range. But right there, we still had 33 seconds to figure out how do we get back in the field goal range. And then we sat on the ball, waiting on either the play to come in. Thomas Brown, he hasn't said why the play came in so late, but still the head coach, and I've said this ad nauseum, certain things should not get past the head coach. Certain calls from our previous offensive coordinator should not get past the head coach. There was a time in, I think, week 3, we were playing the Colts, who was in the red zone. I think it was 4th and goal inside the 5, and he calls a speed option to the short side of the field with Caleb Williams. A speed option. That was the worst thing that's probably the worst call I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of bad calls. That speed option was blown. We lost like 7 yards on that play. 4th and goal. Things like that. Stuff like that should not get past the head coach. The head coach should say immediate timeout. Let's rethink the thought process that brought us to this conclusion. No, we're going to do a different play. In fact, let's kick the field goal. Just to sum it all up, Eberflus, worst coach in Bears history, possibly the worst coach in NFL history, no longer there. So I am rejoicing. Our long national preseason is finally over. We can finally start the season with 5 weeks left. I will take that. I will take that as a pseudo win for this season. The Bears lost their, what's that, 6 games in a row now? I've lost count. But brighter days are ahead. Dave, the next game in this division, well, actually the next game in the division had to be the Packers later on that night, but we'll get to them later. They don't really need a lot of the A block. Dave, you all played and won against refresh my memory, it's been so long.
The Arizona Cardinals with the diminutive Kyler Murray. And we were losing that whole game. We hadn't played well up until the 4th quarter, and they turned it around. Sam Darnold was actually brilliant. And we came from a more than 2-score lead, and we won the game.
I saw that Arizona was 1 for 6 in the red zone that game.
Yes. Now, we did allow a whole bunch of yards. I think it was like 400 for Arizona to go between the 20s. But when they got inside the 20 is when the defense, which is unusual for the defense because they don't usually allow that many yards in the game. They've been a whole lot better than that. They shut them down. For all intents and purposes, they shut them down. And it was what it was. You know, there's a whole bunch of field goals with the rare touchdown, and that was it. But Minnesota pulled it out 10-2, and it was, I've talked about win probability, and we've been, above 80% for, I think, 11 out of the 12 games when it comes into the 4th quarter. And we basically got the game won. Yes, some have gotten within 1 score, but we were basically 2 or 3 scores up. This was a game that was the opposite. And it was a good show of force that we came back. And like I said, Sam Darnold played stellar football. Didn't throw an incompletion, didn't throw an interception, was just ice in his veins, drove down the field, got the score. It was wonderful. Something we hadn't seen all season.
Dave, we've got a comment from the comment section. Tim Lyons, he wants to know your thoughts on Danny Nichols, as he calls him, joining the Vikings practice squad.
I think it's a wonderful deal. It's the Kevin O'Connell School for Wayward Quarterbacks. He's gathering them up in bunches now, and he's trying to revive their careers. I've always said he improved Kirk Cousins' play. He made the whole 4 quarterbacks last year look decent. And then this year, he's made Sam Darnold into a top 10, possibly Pro Bowl level quarterback. And for that, oh, yes. Now, Daniel Jones is what he's referring to, coming to the team, will sit there on the practice squad. He will get called up to the final 53 at least once so he qualify for the comp pick formula. But basically what it is a rejuvenation for Daniel Jones. He has this short audition, whether he's going to make a choice to move on after this season to another team, a bad team like Oakland or someplace where he could have gone in the first place, or if he wants to stay and back up J.J. McCarthy, the future of the Minnesota Vikings, and still get all that nurturing and loving and growing that Kevin O'Connell does to quarterbacks.
I kind of think it's going to be very interesting as we get into the off season and get to seeing who is still in that quarterback room for the Minnesota Vikings. I think that's going to be a pretty good story. Yet the return of JJ McCarthy and maybe those two, like you just mentioned, those two reclamation projects. Dave, I did want to ask before we get on to break and start talking about some things that are more current. Who is the best newcomer on your roster? You said you're 10-2 now. You've got a lot of things to highlight. You got a lot of things that are working in your favor. But if you had one guy as a newcomer that's just head over shoulders over the rest, you got Jonathan Grenard, Van Ginkel, Sam Darnold. Who would you say has been the best bright spot so far?
Blake Cashman, middle linebacker. The 2 games we lost, he was out. We are undefeated with him on the field. That guy can absolutely fly. He knows where to position himself. He knows where he's got the green dot. He knows where to position the defense. He is amazing. And so I'm going to go with Blake Cashman. Out of all those, and you name the other 3, but Blake Cashman has been key to our success this season.
That's what I like to hear. Same question, but a different flavor to our Detroit guys. You all I don't think you all are stocked on newcomers who are just, wrecking hell. But who's your MVP, offense and defense?
As far as newcomers?
No, let's make it more encompassing. Let's put your whole roster on the table. Phases of the team, special teams, offense, defense together. Who will be that one guy who's played head over shoulders above everybody else?
Oh,
that's a tough.
I mean, it's easy to say the quarterback. It's tough with the running backs because they split it about 50-50. But I'm gonna go way left field with a big round belly player, and he's on my mind because I was thinking newcomers, but Kevin Zeitler, our free agent acquisition, has been really, really good this year. He's got a PFF rating of 90, and he started every game. He's only committed 1 penalty the entire year. And he's ranked 3rd overall amongst all guards, and quietly amongst all of the the injuries and inconsistencies, he's having a Pro Bowl year right now, and of course that he directly affects our running game as well as our passing game. So and we've had injuries like Taylor Decker has been in and out of the lineup, Penei Sewell, a guy that we all love and celebrate, but Zeitler's been a sleeper, and he was old. He's a guy that isn't exactly a spring chicken. So we really didn't know exactly what we were going to get. We knew he was a good player, but he's not a younger guy. So he's been very consistent and quiet, though. Not a guy that you hear about a ton, but he's done his job.
I'm so mad. I'm glad you didn't say Penei Sewell, because that just brought back a thought from this past game. I'm so mad. I'm so mad at Ben Johnson. Like, who does he think he is? I know the Lions like to dig deep in the bag when they've destroyed team, and to pull out these gadget plays. But in the first quarter, bro, you do a toss to your tackle, Penei Sewell, and for option play, throw or run. This is a tackle. Like, okay, all right.
It's not the first time he's had that kind of responsibility.
Well, yeah, I mean, in practice,
I don't need to see it in the first quarter against my team.
Right. I mean, in practice, we know. I mean, it's been announced. They made it, because it could have been a quote unquote secret, but it was pretty much announced that he was throwing passes around, not just screwing around, really in preparation for it about a month ago. So we knew it wasn't going to be that next week. But pretty much anything we see happens, we can almost bet in some way it's going to come to fruition in a game. I don't care if it's, I don't know what's more ridiculous than Penei Sewell, but throwing probably nothing. But
I think it's a dumb play. But you don't call no shots around here, Pay. We do what we want. If we want to throw, I said we want to do a triple reverse against your team in the first quarter. Damn it, that's what we're going to call. We're going to run it. You don't run nothing.
He's a pretty athletic. He's a pretty athletic dude. I mean, he stiffed on a few dudes before they finally took him down, and he was ready to pass it. There was some guys running some legitimate routes in preparation for him to throw it. So these aren't for jokes. This is
Hey,
the real deal.
See it either, brother. I don't want to see it either. I'm sorry. I tried to play it off. I don't want to see it either.
It's dangerous. It's definitely, you go at take his legs. I mean, I don't even want to. We don't care. We just do what we want. Everybody's been hurt anyways, right?
No.
It's a very dangerous play to get your tackle out there in space, because, I mean, it's a big guy who you know how you tackle big guys.
Hey, man, block the defensive end, bro. That's it.
He does that too.
Pull if you got to. But other than that, stay on that side. We don't need you throwing no passes, doing no hook and ladders, none of that junk.
He's an athletic guy. Got to utilize him. Just paid him.
That's your coach, baby. That's your coach.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the kicker's athletic, but I don't want him throwing no passes that I'm around St. Brown.
Yeah. So
I'll go ahead and answer my own question about MVPs and great newcomers.
Wait, hold on. Before you do that, Pay.
Yeah.
Can I add who's been a standout for us as well?
Sure.
I want to say Aleem McNeil. He's playing some of the best football that he's played, and he's gotten a contract extension and a raise, but he's very much earning that. So it's not like he got the contract extension or whatever and kind of fell off or got comfortable. He's playing that much better. So he's one of the bright spots on the defense that's consistent. Even before Hutch got hurt, he's stepped it up. So he's been doing a fantastic job. So he's my defensive MVP.
And it's interesting because he got paid literally right after Hutch got hurt. It was Hutch hurt on Sunday. I think by Tuesday, the ink was drying on his contract. It was kind of weird, but.
Nah, that's not kind of weird. Yeah, that's how things roll in this business. You've got newfound importance on the squad. Let me go ahead and pay you, so you don't have any. So you can play with some intensity. That new heavy checking account intensity that these athletes love to have.
It goes both ways, though. Sometimes people get complacent when they get paid. But
shout out to Albert Hainsworth.
That's not good.
That's not good.
I'll answer my own question. I think the standout, the MVP for the Bears so far this season, if you can have one on a 4-win team, it's got to be Jalen Johnson. Not because he's been stellar for the most part of the season on the field. It's because he cursed Eberflus out in front of the president, in front of the GM after this loss after this loss to the Lions, and showed him completely up in front of everybody. And that was the final straw. Kevin Warren, who's usually never in the locker room after games, he saw that. Oh, Eberflus has lost the locker room. Let's have a meeting 8 a.m. tomorrow on discuss this. He could have had that meeting that day. He could have had the meeting a little earlier to save us a little more embarrassment of sending Eberflus out there at 9 a.m. the following morning. But I don't care. The job got done. Well, so shout out to Jalen Johnson for sticking his chest, saying it with his whole chest. The Eberflus, you suck.
And he's a dope dude. He's a good. He's very, very good defensive back, man. Very good.
Oh yeah, he's incredibly talented. We're proud to have him. One day, I'll hope that they can repay his services with some type of winning atmosphere to put around him. All right, shout out to everybody in the live chat watching live. Cricket Commish, my boy Anthony Campanelli. Campo, happy birthday. Tim Lyons, who's always
Happy
here.
birthday.
MSU Detroit fan. So we'll go ahead and take that break real fast on the audio side. Our advertisers, they do us good, so you go ahead and give them an open ear. You watching live. We'll be right back. So, week 14, guys. The Detroit Lions, I believe you all already clinched the playoff spot. Am I right?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Not yet.
It's getting close, but the standings as it relates to the NFC North and the NFC as a whole is getting very compact. I don't think this is getting compact for the top 7 seeds. Detroit, as you all know, they only lost 1 game this season. You guys are 11-1, followed by the Vikings 10-2, and the Packers right there at 9-3. You guys this week, you all have who on your schedule?
Green Bay tomorrow.
That's right, Green Bay prime game. This is probably the first great game on prime. We all know what's going to happen. You're going to destroy those cheeseheads. But tell us, what do you expect to see?
It's going to be a very tough game. And the reason why I say that is because this is a competitive, first of all, it's a competitive league, right? I think everybody's going to play each other tough. As you can see how it's been going, there have been some very close games between us. I mean, like I'm talking about one score could change the outcome of each game that we've all played versus each other. So for one, it's a competitive league. For two, if you've noticed in the past week or so, we've been picking up players off practice squads like, I don't know. Like we've just trying to fill the roster because we've been so injured on one side of the ball, like tremendously. Like we've had some, like Taylor Decker offensively has been in and out of the lineup, but from a defensive standpoint, we're missing a lot of key pieces. And like I said, every other week we're plucking players from someone's practice squad or someone that's not playing. We're bringing back to the league just to get rostered, just to get depth and add more players because that's what it is. And I think when you get a bunch of new players, it's going to take a week or two to gel. So I think it's going to be a tough game.
Going on to that, the good thing is you get all these new players. They already are privy to the Detroit Lions play calls. They're what do you call it? Game script. Because if you follow Jahmyr Gibbs on social media, he put that out there for everyone to see.
Yeah. I mean, I think by now, they might, if they don't know, they know now.
Yeah, Dan Campbell said that if we lose, over some keywords, we didn't deserve to win, pretty much. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a tough game. The Packers have been on a roll since we beat them in Lambeau. I think they had a bye, and then they've won 3 straight games against the Bears, Dolphins, and somebody. The Dolphins game was on Thanksgiving, but yeah, they won 3 straight games. So they definitely bounced back strong after the loss. But the part of what they do that concerns me the most is the fact that I think they have a team that is able to compete in the trenches in the way that most teams would not be able to. This is a team that runs the ball extremely well. Josh Jacobs is having a good year, and they protect Love pretty well. I think they're second in the league in sacks allowed. So this is a team that's pretty stout on both ends as far as their front seven on defense and their offensive line. So, coupled with the fact that we have, I think Levi, Anzarike, Pascal, and DJ Reader are all out as of right now. And then we got Taylor Decker out on the offensive line. It could be tough for us, but, we still have Zadarius Smith. We got Muhammad, who has come on, has been a pretty play pretty well off the edge. He had a couple sacks. I think he had 1.5 sacks, and Zadarius Smith had 1.5 sacks as well. So we still got, and then Aleem McNeil as well. So we still got some good guys on our line that can compete. But the Packers, played us tough last year on Thanksgiving in Detroit. So they'll certainly be trying to stay in the thick of things by stealing a win in Detroit again this time.
I just don't buy the notion that Jordan Love is some guy that you got to be super aware of. Yeah, he's good for smash plays, but I don't think he's at that level yet. I think he's Brett Favre reincarnated with a different father. That's all I think that's how he plays to me.
The different father.
Favre was better than Love is.
Well, to the point I'm saying that reckless with the ball. They throw some stuff up there like you probably should have held on to that. Love, he gets away with some stuff. He should have some 5 interception games so far this season when I've watched him. He's been lucky. Only gets caught with 3 interceptions. But
yeah, not a lot of interceptions.
I think obviously you guys are 11-1. The game is yours to lose, but the key to that game is definitely Josh Jacobs. As you pointed out, BFoster, he has been a menace. I did not think that he would have any type of resurgence going to Green Bay. I laughed when they signed him up. Now I was mad when they got Xavier McKinney, who I still believe is the best newcomer in the division so far, right ahead of Van Ginkel. But Xavier McKinney has been a dog for them this season. I think he still leads the league in interceptions. But back to Josh Jacobs, I thought he was done. He led the league in rushing 2 seasons ago, I think, and he was abysmal after that. And Vegas said, "You know what? We know you're cooked. We're gonna let you go out there and we're gonna let some other team get caught holding a grenade." And those damn Packers, they get lucky again.
It's a good year for running backs overall, especially ones that like free agent. When you talk about Barkley,
free agent running backs, Derrick Henry,
yeah.
DeAndre. Well, let's not put DeAndre Swift in that conversation yet, but
yeah, I was reluctant to.
Even Aaron Jones has been stellar at times.
He's been decent. Yeah, he's had his flashes too. But yeah, you make a good point there, BFoster. Let's move over to Dave. Dave, week 14, you guys are behind the Detroit Lions by 1 game. Who do you all play this week to try to keep pace?
We host the Atlanta Falcons, and Kirk Cousins returns to U.S. Bank Stadium.
Come in your trap, take over your trap, Dave. Is that what's going to happen?
It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes. I expect the Vikings will dominate, but we'll find out.
The Falcons, they've lost, I believe, 3 in a row, if I saw that correctly. Kirk Cousins coming off a 4 interception game, probably one of the worst pick six I've ever seen. Looked a little bit like Favre over there. Are you?
He's washed. He hasn't fully recovered from his Achilles, and he's washed. I'm hoping that he'll start. There's no doubt about that. But I hope we get Penix by the end of the game, because we've intercepted him numerous times or just blown it up, and we've gotten into a multiple score lead. But the stadium's going to be rocking. It's going to be fun.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to have that added intensity, because you got the Kirk Cousins coming back, who spent 6 seasons.
Years.
Yeah, 6 seasons with the Vikings. Who do you think? Obviously, I think the Vikings have the edge. I don't think the Falcons are that good. I didn't think they were that good coming into the season. I thought there was a mistake to even give Kirk Cousins that type of opportunity. It was even a greater mistake to give him that type of opportunity and then draft a quarterback with an the eighth selection. However, Atlanta don't do what Atlanta does.
I think that was the difference in the owner wanted Cousins and the GM wanted an insurance policy.
Very expensive insurance policy.
Oh, no kidding. Because it's virtually all of it guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean, that's why insurance rates all over the United States is out of pocket. Stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Injured guys. So outside of Kirk Cousins, who on the Falcons do you have to be aware of?
Not really a whole lot of anybody. They're part of the AFC or NFC South. They're bad.
Well, I think Bijan Robinson.
Yes.
As BFoster was saying, it's been a great season for running backs. Bijan, he's been doing some things. He's lighting it up. If there's anybody on that team that's not Kirk Cousins dependent and who can still be a game breaker, Bijan is that guy.
Yeah, but remember, what defense is he going against?
Uh-oh.
I know that. I hear that, Dave. I hear you,
Dave.
Who ranks number 1 against the run? Minnesota, baby.
Let them know, Dave.
Giving up all those yards last week. Still Minnesota. So
Drake London's all right too. He's a decent receiver.
Oh yeah, and they got, of course, their tight end, and they've got weapons. It's just you don't have the whole package.
Hey yo,
and plus they've got Kirk Cousins, and you know how I feel about Kirk Cousins, and it's going to cause problems.
Yeah. So, what's the line? I didn't look at the line yet.
I think it's Vikings by 6. I think it was the latest I saw.
That's pretty big. Well, that's what she said. But
yeah.
I was expecting something more like 3.5, Dave. Now he's 4.
No, I was 6 at one spot, 5.5 in another. It's been mostly around 5.5 all week, but I saw it go up to 6 yesterday.
You all expect to cover?
Yes.
I like that. Detroit, what about you all? What do you have your line for the game against Packers?
I do not. I don't even pay attention to it at all.
Let's see.
Favored by 3.
Yeah.
You guys gonna cover that? You gonna win by 3?
I don't care. I just want to win.
No. I need you all to win by 3 times 10. 3
Pay
to the
dirt.
power. 3 to the power of 10. Yes, you do. That's exactly right. Check out Pay Dirt coming right after this show. We talk all about that gambling stuff.
But I disagree on them winning. Just need them to win.
Yeah. Of course.
I need them to tie. That's what I'm hoping for, is the tie. I can't root for the Packers. This is the biggest discussion across Vikings land all week. Who do you root for this week?
And you just can't do it for the.
Don't root for us.
Well, to win the division, you need to root for the Cheese Weasels. And I'm like, no, you don't.
There's other ways.
Do that. FTP. No way. And there's going to be a bunch of people that say it during the week that, yeah, we're going to swallow it. We're going to hold our nose and we're going to do it. And until you get to the game starting and they fuck this, pardon my language. And FTP. No, the only way it benefits Minnesota, and I can come away with the Vikings win, the Packers lose, and the Lions lose, is if it comes to a tie. And I'm rooting for the tie since both can't lose.
In normal settings, I'll agree with you, Dave, but I don't have much else to root for this season other than one, the steady development of Caleb Williams, and two, the Packers flaming out. So I'll take the Packers getting beat by something in the scheme of 58 points. That'll suffice.
Wow.
I believe in
I
you
wouldn't be
guys.
disappointed if that's the case, but I'm just trying to make it so that we blow out that tiebreaker that's like a noose around our neck.
Colorful language.
If the Vikings win out, they finish 15-2. If Detroit wins every game except for against the Vikings in week 18, they finish 15-2. They own the tiebreaker of common opponents, i.e. the Rams. They beat the Rams. We lost to the Rams because Blake Cashman, like I said before, was out. And so we would be a wild card team with a 15-2 record, which would be a record in the NFL. Never happened before. But if they get a tie this week, then we can win out and it's ours, the North, the crown, what we all dream for.
I mean, winning out is like, I mean, for either team, that's a tough task.
Oh, yeah, because we both have tough schedules.
Yeah. So,
And the Lions are on like a 8-9 game winning streak.
yeah.
They haven't lost since week 2.
Yeah.
Crazy
We
work.
went 5-2-5.
Elsewhere in the division, we talked about the Packers, the Vikings, the Lions, the Bears. They have a game as well. They still do have to play, even though their season was blown up this past Thursday. We have the San Francisco 49ers on the schedule.
Talk about a hurt team. They're just as bad as Detroit's defensive front seven.
Oh, yeah.
Just lost CMC.
Yeah, CMC tore his PCL. Jordan Mason is down. He's also on IR. They're down to their 4th running back. He was on the practice squad when the season started. Brock Purdy's been in and out of lineup the last couple of weeks. They already got Ayuk is on IR. Bosa missed a couple of games recently. They're mass shooting. Fred Warner, one of the best linebackers in the game, he said he's playing on a broken ankle that he's had since September. So it's a mass unit over there in the Bay Area. Now, I'm gonna say this again. And no, I'm not pulling out the red nose and the funny shaped hair and the colorful hair when I say this.
Okay.
Because the Joker's dead. He's been locked up. He's no longer in the city of Gotham. Peace out, Eberflus. The Bears are winning this game.
Hey, the Niners are favored by 4.
You better put your money up. Put your money up. It's time for you. Hey, all my boroughs, lock in with me. It's time to become a billionaire. +4 Chicago Bears. I've said it ad nauseum. You can always bet on something, but on one thing in the NFL: new coach, new quarterback boost. The locker room checked out on Eberflus months ago. The locker room loves Thomas Brown. Caleb, his play has went tenfold with Thomas Brown in charge. The only pause I have with this is now that Thomas Brown has to come out of the booth and be on the sideline. Don't know how that's going to affect things, but
I heard he was going to stay in the booth.
I haven't heard that, but that would be an odd. Well, because I still think he's going to still be calling plays, which I think is the right way to go. So we'll see how what happens on that respective come Sunday. But the Bears.
And what's his chance of being hired?
Well, he's got a 6-week job interview, so he's got the best chance.
He wasn't even an offensive coordinator until he was made one, and it's a big jump.
Last year, he was the interim offensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers, also.
Okay,
so he's got experience in that way. He's from the McVay tree. So you like to hear that, because there's been some, bright minds coming out of Sean McVay's camp. A lot of people speak well about him, who's worked with him in the NFL, and in fact, all the football world, people that know Thomas Brown, they speak well of him. I'm rooting for him. Obviously, I want him to had his team steered in the right direction heading into the offseason. I'm rooting for him to have the best 6-week job interview that you can ever have. Well, does that mean that he should be hired? We shall see. We will let those chips fall where they may. But as it relates to this game, I think the 49ers, their season and their arrow is pointing down, right? As I just said, they waited all year for CMC to come back, and he's tore his knee up again. I think his career might be in jeopardy. But and for the rest of the team, they're 2 games behind the division leader, Seattle Seahawks. The Bears, so they're a little bit more desperate. I'm not going to poo-poo them all the way. I'm not going to say their season's over, but because they still have something to play for. The Bears have 8 losses. They're playing for the vibes right now. That's it. But a huge weight has been taken off their shoulder with Eberflus being gone, and that stink that was on this team for the longest eradicated. It's a whole new ball club, and you're gonna see a whole new resolve, a whole new attention to detail come Sunday. It's a whole new team. I'm expecting the Bears to win this game convincingly.
Hey, could be. We know San Francisco's been hurting lately.
Yeah, they are. They've injuries.
And I'm not just talking
abound.
Physically. I'm talking how they play.
Yeah, injuries, like you said, have been hurting. They just haven't been that team this year. It had a last dance feel on it anyway coming into the season, and unlike the '98 Bulls, it ain't working out for them.
And now they're debating: do they pay Purdy or not?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think that's a crazy debate. I think you have to pay him. I think that's beyond the point.
He was Mr. Irrelevant. He's got to be he might still have a roommate right now. Especially in San Francisco.
In San Francisco,
yeah.
Those rent prices, yeah, okay. Yeah,
Poor guy.
Definitely needs to be a little smart with your money out there, because not cheap at all. But thanks, fellas. It's been a great round table for football discussion. I always love it every Wednesday. Dave, what do you have coming up on your channel, the Vikings First and Skol?
Over on Vikings First and Skol tonight, we have the Real Forno Show. Tyler will be previewing that Atlanta Falcons game and Kirk versus Sam Darnold, and we'll see how it goes from there.
And where can everyone find this visually and audio on the audio format?
Of course, Vikings First and Skol on YouTube and across your favorite aggregators And if you have one that's we're not on, let us know. We will fix that. But we're on all the major ones. And of course, we write for Fans First Sports Network, our partners, and we're just about everywhere. Even got a Facebook page.
Definitely check out Dave and all the good work Dave's got going on over there. Skulls and Spice, Real 4-0, two old bloggers, some good football content coming from the Vikings First and Skol channel. Bleachers to Speakers, your one-stop shop for all Detroit sports, landscape and news. The two best opiners coming from the Michigan area. What do you all have coming up next?
Tomorrow, we have a pregame show on Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube. That's at 5 o'clock Eastern time. We'll preview the Green Bay game that's on tomorrow night. We'll also do a post game after the game. So you can catch us on Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube and all the aggregators, Bleachers to Speakers, FFSN. Make sure you follow us. Make sure that notification bell is on. So when we drop, you'll be able to get an alert and download those episodes for us.
Yeah, and they're trying to build up their membership over on YouTube as well as the podcast. So make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and ring that bell.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dave.
As always, all of our shows are available, like Dave said, everywhere you get your podcasts fixed. That's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Pandora, and elsewhere. If you have even Castbox, if you use something that I didn't mention, let us know. We can get the show put on that RSS, but get our RSS put on that platform as well. Gentlemen, what do we say going out?
Skol Vikings.
Sounded kind of vicious.
Yeah, I hope it's a little bit more growl, a little bit more ferocity come Thursday. Everybody that watching the show live, check us out. Check it out in the comments on YouTube. You can see the links to these shows where you can follow them. You don't have to do any type of extra work. Just hit the link. You take you right to all of our platforms. Then this show next week will be on the Bleachers to Speakers channel. So don't miss it. Can't wait. And what's this last comment we got? What's funny is Detroit is having their best season while Minnesota is one game behind in a rebuilding year. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah.
Funny how life works, right?
It is. It's funny how. Yeah, it's funny how the football guys shine on you all, and we get stuck with Eberflus.
Not for you're done with him. Now you're on to the next head coach, whoever that may be.
Thanks for reminding me, Dave. Let's go.
There's the Bears.
Oh, God.
Thanks for listening to this latest edition from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel. Whether you listen to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or watch it on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a drop. And all my homies from Chicago, we say three things: bear down, go Cubs go, and sell the team, Jerry.